I'm TJ Callaway. Welcome to Unreserved with TJ Callaway. Sorry for the long break. I promise we're going to get back on this. It's something I've really enjoyed. And this morning we've got a really special one. Gunner Stockton, obviously starting quarterback at Georgia. Great guy, become a good friend of mine, known him for a long time. And I've also called in Hamilton, Hammy Culpepper, who knows more about football than I know about clothes or marketing. So he's going to be handling a lot of the hard-hitting football questions so that I don't get in trouble. But it's Sunday morning, just wrapped up a great performance against Kentucky yesterday. Good game by all around. But, first wanted to just get into, I think obviously everybody's seen the video that we did with you up at the farm, and people have really loved that. And I've loved that. I think it did a small, little story of kind of who you are and your family, exactly why we wanted to align with you from a brand perspective, just who you are as a guy and how much you appreciate your family and this, that, and the other. So excited this morning for everybody to get even more just kind of candid, who are you and that kind of stuff. So, start from the beginning. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Tiger, Georgia. We actually shot the video in Tiger, Georgia at my farm, and it was just, the video is cool, just seeing the positivity it had on some people and just everybody saying, hey, I saw the video, and some of my friends saying they saw it at the farm, and it was just neat having that out there.
It's been fun. I mean, for me, getting to know a lot of the guys that we've worked with over the years, we've had lots of different names that were, everything from walk-ons to, highly touted recruits. But, I mean, you were a stud high school football player. It wasn't a couple weeks ago they retired your jersey up at Rabun County?
Yeah, that was a pretty special moment.
Yeah.
Being able to just go back and kind of where it all started and where my dreams kind of started. So it was a special moment.
What was that whole journey like? I mean, growing up, how did you get interested in football, realize that you were good? And I guess your dad played football in college too.
Yeah, my dad played at Georgia Southern, and growing up, I always loved football. I started at 6, and he coached me all the way up till middle school. And but playing probably from 6 years old, there was a group of us that played all the way till we graduated high school, and that was a whole thing. But being able to do that was really special. And but my love for football kind of started just on the sidelines when my dad coached high school. He was defense coordinator, so I was always growing up. Charlie Warner was playing. I was a ball boy running around, just dreaming that one day I'd be like him. And just having those role models when you're that little makes an impact for sure.
Well, something tells me, we were talking earlier about when you drive into town, it says home of Charlie. Something tells me it might be saying home of Gunner pretty soon.
Yeah. When's that coming? Home of Gunner and Charlie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
He's now with the Falcons back in the state of Georgia. State of Georgia means something to you. You come here. What is it like getting to play in the home state and repping the G and the red and black and kind of putting the state on your back?
Yeah, it's awesome for sure. I think it means more just playing in your home state, and it's kind of like your hometown feel,
Yeah.
Growing up, it feels like Rabun, and but it means a lot for sure. Just being able to put the red and black on, and it's something that I kind of grew up dreaming about. So it's a dream come true for sure.
Yeah. The South Carolina, you were committed to them for a second, and I remember. So I went to Prince Avenue, and I was a freshman at Georgia when y'all played Prince Avenue. Brock Vandegrift, obviously, y'all are good friends, and he was in that quarterback room. But it was kind of the battle of like the commits and highly touted recruits, and a really fun game. And y'all came out on top. But it was an awesome experience. It was nationally televised. Was that kind of your first game atmosphere like that, where you were kind of in the national spotlight?
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. I remember showing up. It was Friday, showing up to school, and they already had like the signs out, like for the ESPN stuff, and it was like, all right, this game's gonna be a little different, the atmosphere wise, and everybody showed up to the game, and it was a great game. Brock, you're talking about Brock, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I got to spend a lot of time with him being here, and got really close. And he's one of my good friends, so that's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Turned around.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I love one of my favorite Kirby quotes lately, and I can't remember who was interviewing him, but they were talking about how, humble and soft-spoken you are, and then Kirby said, well, just put football pads on him. And, it completely changes, which is awesome. So I think you've certainly jumped right in and risen to the occasion. How do you, because it's amazing. I used to talk to Stetson about this all the time because obviously he got it from every angle. But how do you drown out the noise of, everybody's opinions? And, 1 week it's like, why is Gunner our starting quarterback? He, doesn't know anything about anything. Then the next week they're like, oh, Gunner for Heisman. And then the week after that, it's just this bipolar, public opinion stuff, most of which is coming from people that have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah. But how do you personally and the team just kind of drown out all that noise?
Yeah, it can be brutal. If you ride the social media and, stay on it, it can be up and down. But, for me, I stay off of social media, and I don't even see anything. I used to, see what everybody's saying because I just wanted to see what everybody was saying about Georgia, but now it kind of can affect you a little bit in the spotlight. But I just try to stay off of it. And really, Coach Smart has a good point. Really the only people that matters is in the facility, and just because we really know what's going on. So he has a good point there.
Do y'all pay any attention to the rankings? Nothing, right?
I don't really know. No, I hadn't really paid much attention to it.
Yeah. I feel like once the playoff rankings come out, I guess mid-October or November almost, I don't know. But all the coaches come on game day and all that stuff, and they say they pay no attention to it. I know it's hard not to see it, but I think for us, for Georgia, the mentality has always been, at least under Kirby, and now with you at the helm, calling plays, starting quarterback, I feel like it's always been outside noise, no rankings, none of that. So do you just look at it and say whatever, or just don't even pay attention to it at all?
Yeah, I really don't pay attention to it, I really just worry about what we're doing in football and just put my head down and work.
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot, just not getting caught up with everything. And because, like you said, 1 week they're saying you're the best, and the next day they're saying you're the worst. So just being able to kind of block it out and just do your thing.
What was it like, getting called in, the SEC championship, middle of the game, and then all of a sudden you're just there? Pretty big moment to be thrust into the job.
No, it was crazy. Because when he went down, no one really, we ran into the locker room thinking he might be okay. No one really knew. And then probably a couple minutes or 5 minutes or so, Coach Bobo was like, hey, he's down. And he was like, you're up. And I was just had a lot of emotion.
All right.
I was like, all right, let's go. But it was pretty special in that moment, just being able to kind of handle all those emotions. And it was like, all right, we're playing football again.
Yeah.
Because, I hadn't really played, especially I hadn't played in that environment ever. But it was a special moment to be able to go out and get the win.
What, other than just being yourself, what work goes into, having that, everybody kind of clicking on the right cylinders?
Yeah. I think just showing up, and for me, just going to work every day. And when I wasn't in the spotlight, I guess I was just me, just showing up and going to work and just being good to people, and just being there for guys. And really the biggest thing is just showing up and working every day was the biggest thing for me, I think. And they know who I am, really. I don't really put on an act at the facility, but it's just me. So I think that helped.
Would you say that's kind of part of the culture that Kirby's created, is that people just really respect people that dive in and work hard and do their job?
Oh yeah, I think that's a lot of the guys that get respect and help people that know how they really are, is they just show up and work. And I think that's the kind of culture that Coach Smart's created.
Yeah. But he's incredible from just, his ability, obviously as a football coach, but his, interpersonal skills as a leader with donors and administration and everything else. I mean, he obviously had a lot of exposure to Saban, who's, unfortunately, the GOAT. But but Kirby, I think, has got even more, on the personality side and the leadership side. I've learned a lot just watching him that I've implemented at our team at Onward, because he's just so good. I mean, I guess day to day there's so much going on, it's hard to stop and think about this, but I think one day, y'all are all going to look back and realize, I got to play for Kirby Smart. I mean, how lucky were you to be there in that moment at this time? And what are some of the lessons that you've learned from him just generally about leadership?
Yeah, I think one of the best things Coach Smart does is he just shows up and he's the same guy every day. I don't think I can think of a day that's all right, Coach Smart was off this day, I think that's one of his best things. He's the same guy, he brings the same energy every day. And just as a leader, he's like a rock, that you always know what you're going to get, and he's there. The other thing, I think Coach Smart does a really good job. He can talk to anybody and connect with anybody, and that's a really good thing as far as recruiting, probably too, is going into anywhere and being able to talk is a big part.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. My dad talks about the business that he owns and implementing some of Kirby's values and stuff, and you can kind of see it take on y'all. As a team, y'all take on his personality. I think it's super interesting in games like Kentucky yesterday, where we kind of just controlled the pace the whole time. He's getting fired up on the sidelines, and he's in some dudes' faces and stuff. But then when we're down against Tennessee and you're down 14 in the first quarter and there's no panic, he gets calm and he doesn't kind of have this, the fiery side that we see on the sidelines. And then y'all took on that personality, I feel like. What was it like on the sideline in that moment in the Bama game, kind of being down, and y'all just see him, look to him, and you're kind of take on that personality? I don't know.
Yeah. I think he makes personality, we're never really out of it. Mm-hmm. And I think he does a good job of getting people going. And he can always do that just the way he is. And he's definitely a great leader and a great coach.
There haven't been any, I know you can't disclose the language, but some of the halftime speeches that we hear are awesome.
Yeah.
What was that maybe the Tennessee game one like?
It was really good. he definitely got us fired up, and but he does a great job of motivating guys, and he knows what gets people going, and that's another great part that he does.
Well, I remember it was South Carolina here 2 or 3 years ago, and I remember I texted Delp right after the game, and I was like, what was that halftime speech like? And he was like, actually, it was pretty chill. He was like, we're going to get the ball 5 more, or he was going to, we're probably going to get the ball 6 more times. We need to score 5 of them. We got to stop them. Let's go do it. And then later the tape was released, and it was exactly that. And it's just like you said, he knows when to, turn up the heat, and then he knows when to kind of calm everybody down. Mm-hmm. Speaking of being the same person through lots of different things, college football is amazing because of all the emotion behind it. But, you guys have, in the last 3 weeks, been through all of it. I mean, Tennessee, I was there, was just incredible. And, those there were 4 or 5 things that had to happen perfectly at the end of that game to pull it off. And you guys were able to do it. And then, from the top of the mountain back to our usual trouble with Alabama, what's that like, just trying to navigate that? Because now with you being a leader as well as Kirby, I mean, how do you – I assume some of the younger guys are looking at you to see how you're reacting to some of this stuff, and how do you balance that?
Yeah, that it wasn't the way we wanted to go, but I think as a leader you just got to – just show up and go to work, really. And, I mean, it stinks we lost. Nobody wants to lose, but you just got to show up and go to work and get better at practice was the biggest part.
Does that, light a fire kind of under the seat of your pants when you lose a game like that? I mean, it's such an emotional one, and it's obviously Alabama, and it's, breaks the win streak, all that good stuff. But like we saw it with Alabama, like they kind of like refocused after the Florida State game, and then they got right, and they're a really good football team. Did y'all kind of have that moment, like, you know, Sunday, Monday after the Bama game? You're like, okay, boys, like let's strap up and go to work.
Yeah, I think everybody felt that feeling Saturday night, and everybody's like, hey, we don't want to feel this ever again. So just trying to go back to work and make it to where we don't.
Yeah.
Did you think you got the first down? We think you might have got it.
I think you did.
When I was on the ground, I laid there and I like had the ball, and I was like, I didn't know if my leg hit before, or I didn't really know, but hindsight, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get up, and then, you know, and it's been debated and whatever, the 4th and 1 call and all that stuff, but y'all go up tempo. But like, did that kind of affect your mindset? Like, oh, maybe I got it, or you were just like, hop up and let's go?
Yeah, it was the next play, trying to execute. Wish we executed a little bit better, but it's just how it rolled for us. So.
I personally have no issue with the call. I mean, I think that's the right call for sure, because you kick, then, you know, and our defense had been playing great the second half, but, you know, you kick the field goal, and then all they have to do is drive down a little ways and kick it again, and then the game's over either way. So, I mean, I'm all for going it. And it's another one of those moments where it's like, if we go for it and got it, then everybody thinks it's the smartest thing ever. And then if you go for it and don't get it, you know, then people actually calling the plays don't have the luxury of hindsight.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Everybody thinks they got the best play.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was the thing, too, with Tennessee, is like when we had the chance to maybe put it away earlier and not have to, you know, come back after, and you in London on that 4th and 7 play. But, like, everybody's like, Bobo, you need to be more aggressive. Y'all need to get the ball down the field and all this stuff. And then we get aggressive in the Bama game, and everybody's like, kick the field goal. And I'm like, where's this polarizing beliefs? I mean, I know and you talked about it a little earlier. It's kind of crazy, you know, and you hear all the outside noise, and Bobo's in your ear and all that stuff, and, like, he's your guy. Like, what is it like having him in your ear, and y'all are teammates just as much as you and the guys on the field?
Yeah, he's awesome. Coach Bobo, he shows up to work every day, and like he works around the clock. I mean, he is awesome, and all those coaches. But having him as a coach has really been a great thing, and I'm really excited to have him.
Yeah.
And y'all known them forever, right? Isn't there a family connection there?
Yeah. So his dad, I call him Coach Bobo. He was at Raven for a little bit. He was the driver's ed teacher.
Oh, really?
And, it was for really most of my childhood, and then but he taught me how to throw football when I was like 6 years old, 6 or 7. So
nice.
I've known him my whole life.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I understand this from a business owner standpoint. I mean, for what this is worth with, you know, Kirby and Bobo, I feel like I would take the person that I trust over anybody, like regardless. I mean, obviously I think they're both highly skilled at what they do. Otherwise he wouldn't be here. Yeah. But, you know, even if there was some guy out for whatever role I'm hiring for, you know, if there's some guy out there who's, you know, slick and really smart and knows his stuff, you know, but I don't really know him and trust him, I'm taking the guy that I trust that might not have the resume that the other guy does 10 times out of 10. So I think creating that culture of trust is really important, and you know, in those big moments when you're just trusting somebody to make the right call, you know, absolutely, there it is.
Yeah. One of the things I think that's so awesome about watching you is obviously the dual threat aspect, and we've got, you know, saw it yesterday, a couple designed runs, and then you know, some scramble plays like the touchdown, and I guess it was the first one, was the not designed one. Yeah. But you take some shots too. My favorite play, we talked about it last night, my favorite play from yesterday was your long run, and you actually slid. I was like, Gunner, please stay safe. Like, don't get hurt. But you kind of just seek contact. Like, has that kind of always been your mentality?
Yeah, it's a little harder now in college. Guys are a little bigger. But I've tried to get better at sliding, kind of protecting myself. But I'm trying to get better at it, I should say. But yeah, just being smart, knowing when I can and can't is
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Balance between smart and toughness is probably a good one to find.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that questions your toughness after the SEC championship with that,
Yeah.
like, you look like a zombie after, I still can't believe you held on to the ball after that. I mean, you got rocked. But you came out of there with a lot of respect from a lot of people, I think.
One of the craziest things from that game, too, was Carson goes down, and then that play happens. He comes back in. But y'all's moms, Carson's mom and your mom, they pan to them, like, continuously throughout the game. Like, when Carson goes down, it's his mom crying on the camera. And then when you come in, it's your mom chanting, like, and cheering for you. And then when you get hit, your mom like this. And it's crazy. But I know it's awesome, and your parents are great and tailgate, and they're huge Georgia fans.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like having that support from your family and having them close to home and in the state of Georgia?
Yeah, it's awesome. They've made some really good friends, and they've enjoyed getting to go to all 4 years. They've gone to every away game and every game, so they've enjoyed getting to do that part of it. My dad is funny. He wears AirPods in the stands, so he doesn't hear anything. So that's his little trick that he does.
What's he listening to on there?
I think he listens to the radio or
I
some
got it.
music.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He blocks
He
everything.
just
else.
That's a cool stat.
He didn't hear it. So. But,
Y'all need to wire him into Bobo's thing so you can hear what he's telling you.
Oh yeah. No, that would be pretty cool. But they've enjoyed it, and they do a tailgate here before the game, so they've enjoyed getting to meet a lot of people. So
That part's really fun. Their tailgate's like a block from where we stay. Now I went by there last weekend to see everybody, but it's fun to, you see all you guys on TV and you see all this, and it's easy to forget that y'all are all just people with parents, and like it's fun watching kind of all your parents are, in a lot of ways it's kind of funny. They've become good friends with your friends' parents, so they're all kind of travel around in a little pod, and it's fun, and it's just been neat to kind of talk to your parents through all this, and how proud they are of you, and it's a a huge moment in their lives too, to kind of go through this whole journey. We got to talk for a minute. There are a few things I want to talk about, and I'm not going to put you in a position to like say negative things about anything, but for sure, because I was here for both of them and I was sitting in the exact same seat, there was a moment on third down yesterday in the second quarter when the stadium was not even full where it was louder than the Alabama game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I turned to my wife and I was like, this is louder than last weekend.
yeah.
And I have some thoughts and hypotheses around that. But, as far as the atmosphere and, I hate to use the word complacency, but Kentucky is not a cakewalk game, and that the stadium was not full before the game. How do we, how important is it for you guys, especially in these big SEC games, that we've got fan involvement and that everybody's loud and there and to get you guys fired up? I mean, that's got to play a factor.
I think it does. We were expecting it for it to be 12 o'clock. We were like, hey, there might be nobody, so we got to bring our own juice.
Yeah.
But it really, at the end of the day, it does help, but we need to bring it ourselves. But the night game, there was a bunch of people there, and it was packed.
They just weren't loud enough.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was incredible. Those bracelets they did with the lights and everything, and I think that I'll also say, I know Kirby doesn't like the bells and whistles, and I respect that he doesn't like the bells and whistles, but, the fans, it's kind of fun to have, the fireworks have been cool. I think the little bracelet things they did was really cool. They created an incredible atmosphere, and there's a ton of work that goes into that from the facility staff. I think you got to draw the line somewhere. There's the other team that will remain unnamed that I think I posted, when is the money drop going to come from the sky after the drone show at Texas. And So, but I think we've really found the right balance of having a cool atmosphere with some stuff, but not getting too, out of control with it.
Yeah.
God, but
Do
I
you
just.
like the song?
Well, I don't think we're gonna ever get to play it again now.
Yeah, we played it. They played it a couple times at practice, and I didn't know where it came from or what. But I remember like Thursday or Friday, I was like, I wonder if they're gonna play it at the game, like if that's the song they're gonna play, and sure enough they did. So
25 times.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was part of a song until afterwards. I thought it was just like they'd made a noise on a synthesizer.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It was electric, though, and it was so fun. And, I mean, obviously the outcome isn't what we wanted, but, like, that was the best Saturday in Athens. Like, that's all you could ask for. A night game, and everybody's juiced up, and it's Bama and all that stuff. But you also have a lot of crowd noise, and you got a lot of attention and stuff. How did y'all navigate, like, and Tennessee the week before, I mean, College game day and all that stuff, like, how do you navigate kind of the national media when it's here one weekend and then you get to Kentucky and it's like everybody forgets about you, especially after a loss?
Yeah, I think Coach Smart does a good job about that and not worrying about all that stuff and just staying focused. And he always talks about if we can handle it better than they do, we have an advantage. So, but Kentucky, going into Kentucky, we were watching. They're a really good team. We saw them against Ole Miss, and they played Ole Miss really close, and Ole Miss is a really good team. So we just prepared like we always do, and expected to have good things happen.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday for a minute it looked like it was going to be a closer game than it ended up being. I mean, you guys executed really well and played well, but I mean, it's not like they were a cupcake walk of a team.
I know they were always Kentucky's always physical, and they always play us really well.
Well, and speaking of which, I mean, with the rest of the season, I feel like just with these 3 SEC games in a row, one of them being a big win in Neyland, I mean, we've had some really big games already, but I mean, we're just getting started. I think one of the biggest games of the season, looking into it, was from a challenging standpoint, was going to be going to Auburn and playing a night game there, so that's going to be huge. And then we roll straight into Ole Miss here, which is going to be massive. Yeah. I mean, this season it's a good one. I mean, y'all have got a lot of huge over the last few years. Like, if you want to play in big games, come play at Georgia. I mean,
I know it.
This is a good example of that.
That's the crazy part with the SEC is, especially now with Texas and Oklahoma, that you're playing somebody every week, and you got to be on your A game now. So,
how much time do you have to even pay attention to like what Texas is doing? I mean, are you just laser focused on next week?
I mean, not a whole lot. Playing with the noon kickoff, we got to watch a lot of games. That was pretty cool, being able to play early, and that was kind of a cool part, being able to watch a lot of games. It was neat. But it was. I don't really watch like during the game. Go back and see. It's more just like scores and seeing how people did. So
I can't remember who was it that called them complacent. Saban.
Oh, Nick Saban called them complacent.
I get the fans getting called complacent. We don't show up after a loss. There's some fair weathers out there. We're diehards, TJ and I, but it's kind of crazy that he called y'all complacent.
The quote was somewhere along the lines of like, well, when you win 33 in a row, it's easy to get complacent.
Yeah.
And we can confirm before we publish this that he was talking about the team and not the fans. And he may have been deliberately ambiguous about it, but it was, and he's not wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
It was said.
Yeah. Do you, I mean, y'all, I don't think y'all are complacent. I know y'all don't feel that.
I don't think we felt that. But just, I think not being complacent, just showing up and not being grateful for the opportunity of being here at the University of Georgia and what we get to do and who we get to do it with is the biggest part. And I think that keeps you not complacent.
One of the cool things about this team, too, is Kirby talked about it all in the offseason, is the young, like the youth, like, what is it, more than half the team, or like 70% of the team is first and second year guys. Mm-hmm. So you're obviously a leader in that, but, they haven't won a national championship. They haven't, some of them, if they're freshmen or just transferred in, they didn't win the SEC championship last year, so I don't think you're complacent and stuff. But how do you kind of like keep that hunger going? And I know the fire, passion, energy thing all off season, but like, you know, y'all kind of just stay hungry. What's that like?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part. Coming in my freshman year when we won it, that was the biggest part. Coach Smart was like, we don't have a lot of people that are, you know, that hadn't won one because they won one the year before, and but it was neat just the years following. It's like kind of the less and less guys that have been here and have won one. So he's like, hey, no one's been here that's been there and won it. So everybody's pretty hungry and fighting to get better every day. And I think that plays a big role in it.
Yeah.
Who are some of the guys that you looked up to that really took you under their wing when you first got here?
I think Dan did a really good job. Dan Jackson,
yeah.
We're really good friends. He did a really good job of kind of taking me under his wing, and just being a really good friend. And then Stetson in the quarterback room, he did a good job of just anytime. I was in there watching film one time, and I can't remember when it was. I think it's spring, and we're just watching film when we finished up, and he's like, hey, you want to go watch, it was when Top Gun just came out, and he's like, you want to go watch this with me and Luke, his brother? And I was like, yeah. So it was pretty cool for him to just involve me with that, and that was kind of the guy he was.
Both of y'all are two of my favorites. I love that kid, but my favorite thing about Stetson was that game last year where he wanted to go to a game, but he just came into town and didn't tell anybody and just like went up in the like 300 section in a hoodie and sunglasses, and he thought nobody would notice him, and then all of a sudden like everybody. But like I just love how he just wants to just do his thing and not really ride in the spotlight or anything like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's the man. And you guys have got a really great quarterback room right now. I mean, there's a lot of young, talented guys. I mean, Puglisi played well yesterday. Obviously had one not so great moment, but otherwise looked really good. And then I've heard good things about Ryan, and obviously we got this hot shot recruit coming in. But how's everybody feeling? And you pretty tight with all those guys, obviously.
It's always fun when you have a good quarterback room. And Puglisi is a really good guy and a really good friend, and so is Ryan Montgomery. And it's fun when there's a bunch of good guys in the room and you can show up and it's fun to go into. It makes a lot of difference.
Who's giving y'all the most trouble in practice on the defense?
The whole starting defense is always a struggle. And it's fun. That's the cool part about Georgia too, is we always have a good defense, and it's good to go up against every day in practice, and they make you better for sure.
We've, everybody's talking about how we've struggled to get pressure on the quarterback all season on the defensive side of the ball. Got a sack yesterday. I think it's the first one of the year. Statistically speaking, not, but I think they counted that sack on Jeremy Bernard last week when Chris Cole got him in the double pass. I don't really know if that counts as a sack in my book. But anyways, I know you're wearing the non-contact jersey, but those dudes get after you in practice, right? I mean, that's got to be kind of intimidating. What do you see for this defense moving forward, those guys across the line from you?
Yeah, they do a really good job at practice, and they show up and they fly around is the biggest part, and they always have 11 hats around the ball, and they swarm the ball for sure. And it's awesome. They're a bunch of great guys, and that's the fun part about this team is there isn't really anybody that's like a bad apple. Everybody's really good and showing up and working every day, so that makes it special.
I feel like we've got, with all this NIL and transfer portal stuff, I think we've got one of the more, obviously we've dabbled in the transfer portal, but I feel like from a culture standpoint and like what Kirby's done from a leadership standpoint, we've got one of the more legitimate like locker rooms versus a lot of these schools that have just got this piecemeal thing that gets rebuilt so drastically every year that it's kind of hard for them to have that chemistry. And like you said, there were guys that you looked up to. There's obviously guys you're kind of taking under your wing now. And how do you perceive that portion of this world we're living in right now, and how we've navigated potentially differently than other schools?
I think it gives credit to Coach Smart and just the culture he builds. Like you said, there's teams that have a whole new team every year, And it's just kind of crazy, but that's the kind of day and age we're in. But I think Coach Smart's done a really good job of manipulating it and bringing in what he thinks we need, and not a whole new team every year. So he's done a really good job of keeping the culture what it is, and I'm glad that's the way it is.
Yeah. Well, he obviously does a good job of sticking with, the people that he's committed to. I mean, there were a lot of times last year where he could have pulled back out and put you in and whatever, but, sticking with his guys, I think is something that he's done that I'm sure from a recruiting standpoint and from a retention as far as keeping guys that might be, I know some of you guys that have gotten really big offers to go elsewhere and have chosen to stay. Do you think that his just, commitment and loyalty to the, to the process is a big part of why people stick around?
Yeah, I think he'd always say, like, other schools might offer you more, but they don't have what Georgia has to offer, and I think that's really true. Going somewhere else where you probably don't have a chance to even be in a national championship kind of spot. So I think at Georgia we always are, and that's one of the great things about being at Georgia.
Well, people always, the general public loves to just like take one soundbite and just run with it. And, I remember somebody yesterday was just like, oh, well, there's been so many overtime games, like college football's completely changed because now because of the transfer portal, everybody's got talent, and now all the games are going to be the same. But I fully disagree with that. I think that there's still certain teams that have a culture around them. I think there's certain teams where people want to go play there and they want to be a part of it, and and I think that those teams in the end of the day are still going to have an edge over whether it's the team with more money or the team that got some certain 5-star recruit that then other people went, they want to play with that kid. I think you're still going to have, certain programs like ours, thankfully, with Kirby at the helm, that are going to be, tried and true. And we may not have the most money to throw at people, but I think that culture aspect, you can't buy that.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And I think there's a lot of places that don't have the culture that we have, and I think that's what makes it special.
So this is kind of a general question, but it's going to get specific. All time, high school, college, what is your favorite moment in a college or in a football game?
Yeah, I'd say all time. It wasn't really one moment, but growing up when I was 6 years old and playing with the guys that I grew up with, that was pretty special to play all the way from 6-year-olds to when we graduated high school. That was pretty special growing up, and I still just cherish every moment with those guys and those memories. That was really special.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tops the throat kneeling, because that was awesome.
Now college, that was pretty special in kneeling. That was a special moment, and then the SC championship, that was also another one up there. So there's some great moments.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah.
How many TDs are we up to now? You had 2 yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't even.
Don't know.
So my favorite touchdown run thus far from you was the Marshall game when you turned around and pointed at the dude, and like you're the most humble dude ever, but like you said, you put some pads on and you kind of turn into a monster. What'd you tell the dude? Like, what'd you tell him when you pointed?
I'd like to say I was pointing at him and taunting him, but it was London Humphreys was running back, and I literally locked eyes with London and was pointing at him. So that's the true story about that. But I was just excited in the moment and saw London and was really happy. That
was awesome. Yeah. And then the play, another awesome run was in the SEC Championship last year. And I think it was your first time you kind of scrambled and you got the first down, laid that dude out on the sideline, and our team was right behind you, and you kind of got up and you were like in his face a little bit, and then the team was just all in, and they locked in, and they were all with you. What did you say there?
I don't know what I said. I don't think I'd like to say I laid him out, but I don't really know what I said. Just a lot of emotions and excited in the moment.
We were talking earlier. I mean, it seems like your natural instinct is to scramble around and make a play happen, but it seems like lately you've been sticking in the pocket a little longer and waiting for things to develop. Mm-hmm. Is that something that everybody, the coaching staff has been talking to you about, or has that been just a natural progression of things, or is that something you're working on?
I've been trying to get better at just when I need to run, just kind of those situations, being able to use my feet, and when it presents itself, being able to run, and when I need to stay back there and throw it. So just being able to know when I need to get up and go and stay back.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, like, seeing how the offense has just developed. Like, everybody was complaining in the Marshall and Austin P games, like, oh, where's the playbook? Gunner hasn't thrown it down the field. And then we get to Tennessee, and your first throw to Colby was just a rocket, and it was awesome. Everybody was like, Kirk and Chris Fowler said it on the radio. They were like, Georgia fans have been waiting for this all year, and now it's continued. And the Bama game, that throw to Colby was awesome. I feel like we've opened it up more just as a whole, but it all starts with the rushing attack. And I think Chauncey has been like an answered prayer. What's it like having not just Chauncey, but Nate, Dwight, all those guys, Cash in the backfield, and kind of getting the run game going first?
Yeah, it's awesome. We've done a really good job with the run game this year, and the guys up front, all the linemen have done a really great job, and like all the running backs been running the ball really well, and it's awesome. It definitely helps a lot when your run game's really good. So they've done a really good job, and excited for it.
Do you like running the ball? Like, is that like if you could play any other position, I guess, would you be a running back? Because you kind of seem like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't be able to play at Georgia. I was a running back. I don't know where I'd play. Probably not even play. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if I'd.
It's so funny from a public perception or public, commentary, whatever you want to call it, standpoint. It's like going into Tennessee, like there's so many guys who are just like, well, we haven't thrown it. Like Gunner doesn't know how to throw the ball. Why are we using Gunner? Because he can't throw it. And it's like, I think he can. And it's like, and I don't think Kirby would have a quarterback that doesn't know how to throw the ball. So potentially we're just not doing it until we need to keep it off film. I mean, was that strategic in your mind to like just not have as much film of you throwing the ball, or like what? Because we really didn't throw the ball much at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, there was the team, they were playing a bunch of off coverage, and really there wasn't really a bunch of deep shots there. And that's kind of what they did, and we just kind of had to do what we had to do. And, but it needed to be a little earlier when it presented itself. Probably needed to be a little better in executing, but I'm glad it all worked out. So
yeah. So the 4th and 7 play, I mean, it'll go down in Georgia history. It was awesome. Like, that was on the money. London made a great catch too. But you get that play call in from Coach Bobo, and all we needed was 7 yards, and he's thinking end zone. Were you kind of like, okay, let's go? Or was it like, all right, maybe let's just get 7 here. Like, let's just get the first down, or is it just like?
Yeah, it was just, hey, he called it, and that's what he called, and I was excited. It was loud, and the first thought I was like, right before I was about to snap, I was like, I hope Drew hears my clap.
Yeah.
And he did a really good job. That whole game we didn't have any penalties, so that was credit to Drew. But he did a really good job with that, and Hank London running it, and that was really, like you said, a moment that'll go down, and definitely a great moment for sure.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was just perfect.
Yeah.
Bread basket.
It was awesome.
It was.
What game are you most looking forward to the rest of the year?
Really, the next one, Auburn. I
Yeah.
don't really look forward as much. I'm really looking forward to Auburn. They have a great environment. We played, I think it was 2 years ago, when Brock had a great game.
Yeah.
And Carson ended up having a great game too. But that was a neat game just to kind of, because I think they had the lead maybe for a little bit. It was a close game, and then Carson threw, I think, Brock like 3 times.
Yeah. That was
going
nuts.
down to score,
I was getting texts from my Auburn friends like, if you didn't have Brock Bowers, it's like, but we do.
Yeah. But that was an awesome environment to see, and it was a really loud stadium, and just the history of Auburn and all that's there with Georgia and Auburn is was pretty neat, and I'm excited to get to go there on Saturday.
So it's going to be obviously loud. You've gotten Neyland out of the way, which is one of the craziest, loudest environments in college football. Auburn's got some superpowers working for them. I'm always scared of going there. First time we've played at night in Auburn since 2013, the prayer at Jordan-Hare, which sucks. And they're retiring Cam Newton's jersey. So you got a lot of outside noise. I shouldn't be saying this to you, I guess. But, I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it'll definitely be crazy. I think they'll definitely have some juice and going. But that's what makes it special, college football. And that's why you want to play the game and come to the University of Georgia and play in the SEC. And that's what makes it really special.
If you can do what you did at Neyland, I think we can make it happen.
Yeah,
that was loud. That was nuts.
So I went to SEC Media Days, and they were there the same day as us, and talked to Jackson Arnold when he took the stand. And he was not talking trash, but he was amped up for this one. Like, that was the one game that he said he was looking forward to. And he's, been decent this year, had his ups and had his downs, and Auburn's had their ups and downs as well. But he's super talented. Do you kind of communicate with him or any of the other guys in the SEC, the other quarterbacks?
Yeah, I hadn't really. I think he was a grade below me, but like normally with going through the recruiting process, you kind of get to know some guys, and I never really crossed paths with him, and I heard he's a pretty good guy, and I know he's a really good player. But the other SEC guy that I know is probably Ty Simpson. We actually went to the Alabama camp when we were in high school together. But kind of that's the cool part of just kind of seeing where guys are, and because we're playing the same position, same league, so you kind of know what they're going through to an extent. And but it's just kind of neat, just getting to know some guys and carry that through.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you've got a lot going on this time of year, and we're really proud of you. We're humbled and honored to align with you from an Onward perspective, and obviously excited to see where the rest of the year takes us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And Hammy, thanks for joining.
Of course, man. Thanks
Appreciate
for having
it.
me. Gunner, appreciate you, man. Go Dogs.
Good.